Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video, and today I want to talk to you guys about a few things that popped up in the PC beta, namely a cool new customization option known as auras, a clarification on ship Transmat options, a first look at genuine in-game chests dropping from high-value targets, and some additional news rolled into the mix for good measure. So as always, if you do enjoy the video, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Also, just before we dive in, a quick reminder that I've actually got two giveaways running right now. There is the PS4 Pro giveaway that is running for another 5 days, plus thanks to the awesome guys over at the Vault, I've got these two super sweet Saladin and Cade 6 models to give away. I've given away some stuff from the Vault before. The quality of their products is incredible, so if you guys want to enter either of those giveaways, then the links are down below. And if you want to check out the other stuff that the Vault has on offer, other Destiny stuff, I've also left a link to their Twitter and their Instagram down below. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk Destiny 2. First up, I want to talk about auras and Transmat effects. I'm talking about them together since initially I thought they were related, but discovery of the second clarifies the first. Allow me to explain. On the second page of the character screen, this is in the PC beta, you'll recognise a few familiar slots. This is where your sparrow will go. This is of course your ship, your emblem goes here, and your emote goes down here. But this slot is new. This slot is for auras, and if you read the description it says, visual effects awarded on completion of challenging activities. Now to begin with I thought, oh, this is probably those fancy respawn animations that we've been seeing. However, if we take a momentary detour and look at the ship in more detail, you'll see that the ship has two customization options or slots. You have the shader, which is cool. I definitely, by the way, need a full set of those banana shaders. I want to walk around in all yellow while saving the galaxy. But, that aside, the second slot is a Transmat slot. This one reads, use default Transmat effect when arriving in a location or reviving. So having now seen this, we can in fact confirm that auras and transmats are indeed separate. Transmats we've seen a fair bit of from the European Dead Zone footage as of late, but for those of you that want a quick reminder, then here's what I'm talking about. When you spawn in or you respawn after dying, this is your default animation, the basic blue particle effect that kind of emanates from the orb. Meanwhile, some other options include these spooky green flames, this red crucible looking crest that shatters when you drop in, and finally this really cool jade rabbit that does a similar thing to the crucible crest. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say these come from those new bright engrams that you get when you level up, since you decode those from Tess Everest, and she is usually all about cosmetics, so it kind of makes sense. But regardless, wherever they come from, we can now confirm that your fancy respawn animations are in fact tied to your ship. The auras on the other hand, now this is something we haven't seen. Looking back at Destiny 1, I'd be willing to bet they would be similar to that of say the flaming blue head you get for completing a Nightfall on a given week. And hopefully, seeing how outlandish some of those respawn animations are, then maybe there's a chance that these two could be pretty over the top. Imagine things like flames that engulf your Guardian, or like a red Cabal pulsating glow around you, or perhaps something similar to, say, what we saw on the shoulders of some of the ornamented Wrath of the Machine gear. Anything like that could be a possibility. It'll also be interesting to see whether this is something that is present at all times, it's equipped, or whether it's something more so for social spaces, aka when you're in the farm. But what's cool about this is that it's yet another way to allow you to display your accomplishments. In fact, in the past, if you stand at the tower with, say, a full set of Trials gear or a hard mode raid gear, people can instantly tell where you've come from or what you've done. But now that you can throw auras on top, depending on the challenges associated, these could be pretty sought after items, especially if there are kind of challenges linked to various different things, the Crucible, PvE, maybe there's even a clan aura. But either way, this is a surefire way of saying, look what I've done. So these are for sure something that I am definitely looking forward to checking out. Now moving on from here, the next thing I want to comment on is this. Notice how what used to be referred to as your light level is now referred to as power. Now I'm unclear at this stage whether power is something that we'll see whilst leveling and then later in the game it swaps over to light. But in the recent Edge magazine they did make frequent references to your power level as opposed to your light level. Given that Destiny 2 is all about Ghoul taking out light, and us having to venture out into the world to seek ways to gain power, this change might be an attempt to reflect just that. Whilst light can be drawn from other sources besides the Traveller, this is likely a conscious choice and something that'll work into the narrative in some way, shape or form. The official description reads, power is an average of the attack and defense values across all of your currently equipped gear. Higher power improves both your damage output and your defense. So pretty standard stuff really. Put on your most powerful gear to make you more powerful. And for anyone new to Destiny, jumping in for the first time with number 2, power is for sure a much easier concept to grasp. Light has always been a pretty abstract concept, meanwhile power is clean cut. The bigger the number, the more powerful I am. Additionally, something else I mentioned yesterday, but wanted to weave this into this video since it's relevant, but Mark Noseworthy, project lead on Destiny 2, did say that you will no longer need to have your most powerful gear equipped when decrypting engrams in Destiny 2. Instead, the game will work out your maximum possible power based on what you have available. So gone are the days of forgetting to equip something only to realise you wasted an opportunity whilst decoding. Unsure at this stage whether it takes your vault into consideration, but either way, a considerable improvement for sure. Now moving on from there, if you saw my video from a few days ago, then I spoke about some of the stuff you can get up to in the European Dead Zone based on some of the new footage released from various media outlets. Within that, we got to look at the new high value targets and how they'll work. Located around the world, you'll have named bosses, yellow or orange health bars, and you'll typically get an on-screen prompt when they appear. Defeating them will then result in a chest dropping, which then contains loot, rep tokens, glimmer, sometimes gear. One of the PC beta, these chests are actually in-game, which is pretty sweet. Unfortunately, they don't actually reward you with anything. In fact, you open it and you get nothing. Absolutely nothing. But it does give us a first-hand look at the general flow. I literally spawned into the inverted spire strike and there was this named Minotaur right in front of me. We took it down and then upon killing it, a chest spawns right where it died. You then open it up and this is typically where you would get the loot. So to take a look at, say, some of the press footage from the European Dead Zone, this is sort of your intended flow. You open it, it drops some tokens and some other loot. Since the inverted spire strike is on Nessus, then that would of course give us Nessus tokens as opposed to the EDZ ones we've seen, which could then of course be redeemed at the Nessus specific NPC for reputation. Each planet has a dedicated NPC who can give you rewards in exchange for reputation. On Earth, in the EDZ, that is this guy, meanwhile on the other planets, we're not too sure. What is interesting though is that within about 5 minutes of roaming around the Nessus area at the start of the inverted spire strike, I encountered 2 high value targets. So if this is anything to go by, then it seems they will spawn pretty frequently. I'll be interested to see if they ultimately end up having fixed spawn locations, because if they do, then this could be a great way to begin farming those all-important location-based tokens. Tokens lead to rep leads to engrams, and engram leads to gear. And since we're going to be trying to power up in time for the raid, then every little helps for sure. Now moving on from there, I want to briefly speak a little bit more about this Leviathan and the Leviathan raid theory. I put up a video on this the other day talking about the trophy list, the new difficulty, and of course the raid, and at the time, we made reference to the hoodie that Luke Smith was wearing during the gameplay reveal and how the symbol somewhat aligned with the symbol from the achievement icon. However, there's another rather interesting bit of concept art that is actually visible on Bungie.net. They added a load of new customization options for your profile, new avatars, banners, and this is one of those images. Reddit have put together a really good theory on what it all means, and I won't be speaking about all of that in this video, so instead I will simply link their post down below. The main things that I want to call out are the fact that the mouth of this interesting looking space creature paired with the light on top look remarkably like this logo. The mouth is clearly red and glowing inside, which looks extremely like the inverse of this scene here. But more interestingly, in the PC beta, if you go exploring around that tower with the Vex looking door, you can see in the sky, if you're looking at the right angle, you can actually see this interesting shaped thing. True, it's a little hard to make out and see clearly, but it definitely looks somewhat similar to the Leviathan-shaped ship. I mentioned in the video earlier in the week how I think the Leviathan is likely just a ship as opposed to a mythical creature, but even if it is a ship, maybe a huge megaton planet or world-eating ship, a raid inside that could be incredible. I mean, the Cabal force we've seen so far looks pretty threatening, but that'd be nothing if they also have a huge Leviathan-sized ship in the wings. If you guys want to try and explore this for yourself, then I've linked a video down below that shows how to get to this location, and I've also linked the accompanying Reddit post which has a few more screenshots from different angles or different times of day. Definitely worth checking out, and what's more, if this is indeed where the raid will take place, then it looks like Nessus might be our raid destination. Although, if it's a flying ship, I mean it could go anywhere, so who knows? Either way, that is pretty much it for the time being. I've also linked a new Destiny 2 trailer down below. It doesn't really show anything new, in fact it's pretty much all stuff we've seen before, but it's a trailer Bungie dropped yesterday that essentially sums up what Destiny is all about, and it's put together in a really cool way, so it's definitely well worth watching if you haven't seen it already. Also, if you missed yesterday's video, then I put together a quick comparison showing you the differences between the 4 PC setting presets, so if you want to see what it looks like to run Destiny 2 on both low and high settings, that should answer your question. But until then, thanks very much for watching, keep it locked for much more Destiny 2 content, and take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.
I am gone. This.
enter the Crucible to dominate.